All right, here. All right, hello YouTube. Here I am for part two. Um, Next up we have Twisters. Um, Now this movie, believe it or not, I literally just watched the original just this year. Actually, I know, shame on me. Um, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and that made me want to check out the new one. And the new one, I gotta say, the new one is one of those movies where, Twisters is a standalone sequel. So, in other words, you don't need to have watched uh, the first movie to watch, you know, uh, to watch the second one. It's not, it's not, it's not a requirement. Would it help? Yes, but would it help? Yes, obviously. But is it required? No. Um, so um, when I went to see when I went to see the second one in theaters, um, I was completely blown away by just like how well it was written, how well it was acted, um, and just really, really capturing, um, and just really, really capturing, um, just the um, just the and just really, really capturing like the destruction that two twisters uh can do. And really bringing that uh really bringing that really bringing that high value, um really bringing that um really bringing um that high sense of morality, and what to do in a situation like that. Um and this is a movie that takes everything that you love about the original and just amplifies it by like 10%. And it takes everything that you loved about the first one, and just and it takes everything that you love about the first one, and just makes it better. um and that is um obviously something. um and if you're able to do that for a sequel, then you obviously have something very, very special. um and I couldn't Another thing that I couldn't believe is that Twisters literally just completely wiped the floor at the box office. Like this movie was still playing literally like months after its release. um like I remember, like I would go to like I would go online, and I would go online and and look for a new movie to see, and I would see that Twisters was still playing in theaters. And I was like, oh my God, this movie is just completely dominating the box office. And it did. Um, and it did. It completely wiped the floor with everything, during its theatrical run. Um, and yeah, no, this was so good. And it was definitely one of the best movies that came out, this year. um, there aren't many movies out there that are able to take, um, that are able to take something, so beloved and just, expand upon it in such a way that makes the story, that makes the story better, that makes, that makes you, like fall in love with it all over again. Yeah, no, this movie was freaking incredible. I guarantee you, I guarantee you, if you love the first one, you will love this one. Um, if you loved the first one, you will love this one even more. I guarantee it. Um, the next one I have is Longlegs. Excuse me, sorry. Um, This movie is basically Silence of the Lambs meets Seven. You have an FBI agent, socially awkward, um, socially awkward, very quiet, but also very, very, very good at her job. Um, and you have Longlegs, played by Nicolas Cage, who, for me, is very, very hit or miss. Um, I imagine he's that way for a lot of people, but um, he in this movie, you know how Nick Cage has those roles that he is either, very, very good in, or he's very, very like over the top, or he's very, very, like over the top and just, I don't want to say necessarily bad, but just very like over the top and very like larger than life. This Longlegs is definitely, Longlegs definitely falls under that category. Um, and here, an FBI agent basically needs to solve like all these clues in order to find, in order to solve the mystery of this killing spree. Um, this movie is very, 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 very good. I saw this. This was another one I saw in the theater, and um, I saw this one in the theater, and I was very, very impressed with this movie. I enjoyed this one quite a bit. And if you haven't seen it, watch it because it is very much worth your time. Um, the next one on the list I have. Okay, yep. The next one on the list is Daddy's Head. Now, this one is a Shudder original. Um, the best way I can describe this movie um, is anyone here who has seen the Babadook will basically get very strong vibes. Um, will get very strong, vibes from this movie because uh, they have a lot of similar qualities. Um, this movie is basically, here we have, in the Babadook, you have a mother and son, but here we have a mother and stepson, um, who just recently lost his father in a tragedy, and you have an extraterrestrial type, I guess you could say, creature, taking on the appearance of this boy's dead father, and the and anybody here who has obvious anybody here who has lost family to whether it was by tragedy um or cancer or whatever it is, knows what it's like to be knows what it's like um to lose to be, to be that close to a family member, um, and then all of a sudden, and then just, all of a sudden, they're gone, and you feel just, very, very lost, and you have an overwhelming, um, and you have an overwhelming, and you're just, like overwhelmed by grief. That is basically this, um, that is basically, what this son, what this boy is, going through. And, but you also have a stepmother, who never wanted kids to begin with, but she is all, but all of a sudden she is in charge of taking care of, this boy, and of this, um, of this boy who is, her stepson. And, um, and both of them are just, overcome by grief, and by their loss, that both of them are, um, both of them are, both of them are just, the boy especially, are just out of control. Um, and you have this, extraterrestrial type being, as I said before, taking on the appearance of, this boy's dead father. And obviously, the boy is trying to tell, uh, the mother. He's like, oh, I saw dad, and blah, blah, blah. And she obviously doesn't believe him. Um, so it is a very, 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 very good movie. Very, very creepy. Um, Very, very creepy. Very, very well written. The acting is solid. Um, the acting is solid, and yeah, no, just very, 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 very good movie. Um, and like I said before, it's a Shutter, original. So if you have Shutter, check this one out, because this one is damn good. Um, the next one up on the list is, excuse me, sorry, Gladiator 2. This was another movie that I saw. The first Gladiator, I know, shame on me, was another movie that I just recently saw this year. And the and the first Gladiator was one of those movies. After seeing it, I was like, why did I not watch this sooner? Um, so after seeing, the first one, I saw the second one in the theater, and, I saw the second one in the theater, and, um, as I said in my, Gladiator 2 review, um, I like the first one better. However, there's a little bit more. This one's a little bit more, political than the first one. The first one, is very much an action movie. Like obviously, like when the first one opens, it's another one of those movies that doesn't waste any time. It just drops you right into the action. Um, this one, uh, Gladiator 2, though there are obviously, some action sequences, it's a little bit more political um than the first movie. This one is about the son of, Maximus, and basically, like his journey, his story, basically learning, like who he is, and his, and his journey, and his mission to free, um Rome from the clutches of, from the clutches of these two twins that have come to power over the past 16 years. Um, and it's very, very good. I enjoyed it very, very much. Um, the action, when there is action, the action sequences are very, very well done. The acting is phenomenal, particularly from Denzel Washington, who completely stole the show. Um, and as I said, I didn't like this one as much as the first one. However, it is definitely a very, very worthy sequel to the original Gladiator. So this is also, and that is why it is on this list. Next up, we have Smile 2. Now, I saw the first Smile in the theater, and when it came out, and it blew my mind completely. I remember walking out of the theater and going, that is probably the creepiest friggin' thing I've ever seen in my life. Um, Smile 2 is another one of those sequels that takes everything that you love about the first movie and expands upon it. Um, and it is here you obviously have a new lead. Um, um, oh, what's her name? Um, oh, I can't remember her name now. This is gonna bug me now. Um, you have Skylar. Um, I don't remember the character's last name, but you have Skylar, who is basically who is a world-renowned celebrity who is on tour. Um, she's a singer and she's on tour, and much like um, Sosie Bacon's character from the first movie, Skylar experiences very, very similar, life altering um, experiences. Excuse me, sorry. Experiences, um, and her life spirals out of control. Um, because of these events, and uh, because of because of the Smile, I guess you could call it like virus, or whatever. Um, it does have some similarities to It Follows. Um, it it's very much, it gives off, those very, very it gives off a very, very similar vibe. It gives off a very, very similar vibe. Um, but yeah, this one takes in terms of, like the gore, and like in terms of, like the violence and the gore, this takes it to a whole new level. Um, this takes it to a whole new level. And in this movie, we actually learn, like what like where the virus comes from, and what it is. Um, and it is definitely one of the best movies that I saw this year. And this was a movie that I was very, very much anticipating, because I enjoyed the first one so much. Um, so yeah, and this one definitely did not disappoint when I saw it. Um, so all I can say is, if you love the first one, all I can say is, if you love the first one, I can guarantee you will love this one even more. Um, Next up, we have Heretic. Um, I saw the trailer for this in the theater, and I thought, um, and the trailer looked interesting to me, so I went and saw it. And damn, um, so this one um, you have two young women. Sorry, I can't talk today, guys. Sister Barnes and Sister. I don't remember the other girl's name, but um, they go to Hugh Grant's house on behalf of their church, and this is another one of those movies that turns into a very, very deadly game of cat and mouse when they arrive at Hugh Grant's house. Um, you know, when they get there, when they get there and they start talking, things very, very quickly go sideways. Um, and it turns into a very, very deadly game of cat and mouse. And it is them basically. Um, this is a movie that focuses on. It is a horror movie, but it also focuses a lot on. Um, like different types of religion and stuff like that. Um, I'm not a religious person, so a lot of the religious, aspect of it didn't really, connect with me, and uh, I wasn't really able, to follow, like that part of it. But, um, but no, it was definitely, it was a very, very, very well done movie, all the same. And this movie is actually from A24, who brought you hits like Talk to Me, um, Ty West's Ty West's X trilogy, X Pearl, Maxine, um, hits like that. And yeah, no, this movie, that Heretic, very, very good, very, very much worth seeing. Um, yeah, no, I definitely very, very much worth seeing and very, 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 very good. I cannot recommend it enough. And um, the last one, I saw this last night. Uh, I saw this last night. Robert Eggers, Nosferatu. So, brief history on Nosferatu. Um, Apparently, there was a movie, obviously called Nosferatu, in 1922. It's a silent movie, and it does have a lot of similarities to Dracula. It is basically the German version of Dracula. It's Nosferatu is based on Robert Eggers, Nosferatu is based on Bram Stoker's Dracula. It has a lot of similarities to Dracula. It basically is Dracula, but in a different um this it has a lot of similarities to Dracula. It basically is Dracula in a sense, but obviously to avoid, copyright claims and stuff like that, they named it Nosferatu and obviously changed stuff like, like the names and characters and stuff like that. But it is very much but it is very much along the same lines as Dracula. Um, and Bill Skarsgård, who plays, Count, who plays, who plays Count Olak in this movie. Oh my God. I mean, if this guy doesn't win an Oscar, or if this guy doesn't win an Oscar, or at the very least, a Golden Globe, I'm going to be pissed because he deserves it. Um, Bill Skarsgård, I think I said this in another video that I did, but he is one of the best actors in Hollywood today. His performance as Pennywise, obviously iconic, um, and that is what made me fall in love with Bill as an actor. And however, his performance in this movie compared to his Pennywise, this his performance in this movie as Count Oleg, um, he basically makes Pennywise look like a gentleman in comparison. That is how evil um, he is in this movie. In fact, I actually saw online that Bill Skarsgård has officially vowed to he has officially vowed to never play anything this evil ever again. And I can see it because the Count, in this movie, just very, very short tempered, and just all around like evil. Like all he wants to do is conquer. um it basically is, it's just, like conquer and take over and just um and his performance in this movie, I mean, it just completely blew me away. And he doesn't, he obviously sounds nothing like he sounds nothing like Bill Skarsgård either. Like his voice, the voice that he used for this movie. I mean, I'm sure they I'm sure it's um I'm sure it's I'm sure it's very heavily edited, um but his voice in the literally everything in his performance in this movie, everything, from his voice to his look to uh to just, everything about him is freaking creepy. um in the way that this movie opened, it was like, oh my God, what an opening. um I just what an opening. But yeah, no, this movie, everything about it, from the acting to the way it was shot, to the way it was shot, to the set design, to literally everything, just, I mean, perfection. Um, the only things that I didn't really like about it were I didn't really care for Lily Rose Depp's character in this movie. I didn't really care for her character. And then the ending, which I'm not going to spoil. Excuse me, sorry. The ending was a little bit of a letdown. Um, but other than that, the movie was great. The movie was fantastic. It wasn't my favorite. It's not my favorite Robert Eggers movie. Um, but it is definitely still very, very good and very, very much worth seeing. Um, and I just heard that an extended cut uh, will actually be coming out when the movie is released on DVD and Blu-ray. So I will definitely be grabbing that. Um, but yeah, no. So those are my picks for best movies of 2024. Let me know what you guys think of my choices. Let me know Let me know in the comments what some of your picks were. Like, subscribe. Happy New Year, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.